Today's top 25 tech stories. Subscribe and hit the bell for daily tech updates. Momenta Global Hong Kong IPO raises $751 million. Momenta Global, a company founded by former Microsoft researcher Cao Xudong in 2016, raised $751 million through its Hong Kong IPO. The software provider for automakers also operates Robotaxi services and plans to expand internationally, including commercial trials in Abu Dhabi and Munich this year, subject to regulatory approvals. San Francisco is totally unprepared for the coming wealth tsunami. Here is a concise and factual summary of the news article. San Francisco's tech scene is experiencing a wealth surge as startups Anthropic and OpenAI prepare for initial public offerings, IPOs, with thousands of employees watching their equity accounts balloon to staggering heights. The company's valuations have grown exponentially, redefining the scale of tech wealth and creating two tiers of rich: regular wealthy and stratospherically wealthy. Wall Street's IPO revival hasn't reached .com euphoria levels, Goldman Sachs says. Goldman Sachs reports that the US IPO market is experiencing a strong rebound in 2026, with around 50 companies going public so far this year, double the number from the same period last year. However, the resurgence does not yet resemble the .com bubble's speculative frenzy. Crypto IPO market stalls as capital rotates to AI and macro uncertainty ways. The crypto initial public offering market has slowed due to investors rotating capital into other sectors, such as artificial intelligence, amid growing macroeconomic uncertainty. The slowdown follows a liquidity event in October that drained capital from the digital asset ecosystem, with retail investors shifting their attention away from crypto markets. The download, a useful quantum machine and a record-breaking subsea tunnel. Meta allegedly used AI to target workers with health issues, including those on maternity or disability leave, in its layoffs, aiming to offset its AI spending. SpaceX explained 8 things that matter the most after the IPO. SpaceX's initial public offering IPO on June 12 broke a Wall Street record, raising over $75 billion and valuing the company at around $2 trillion. The IPO also marked the first time an AI giant has entered the public market, with shares surging $19 to $161 by the closing bell. The next startup gold rush is in civilization technology. Here's where entrepreneurs should look. The next major initial public offering, IPO, is expected to come from civilization technology firms building essential systems for modern life, such as energy, defense, AI, space, and biotech. These companies support maintaining today's level of civilization globally and adapting to growing populations' demands in the future. Anthropic moves closer to AI mega IPO as bankers line up investor meetings. Anthropic, an artificial intelligence startup behind the popular Claude models, is scheduling investor meetings ahead of a possible initial public offering, IPO, later this year, with bankers gauging demand and exploring a potential listing as early as October. The IPO would mark one of the year's most significant technology listings after SpaceX's massive IPO in June. OpenAI rolls out powerful new GPT-5-6 models, but limits users after government request. OpenAI has rolled out 3 new AI models in its GPT-5-6 series, including Sol, Terra, and Luna, but made them available only to a limited group of trusted partners, approved by the US government due to concerns about their advanced capabilities. A broader rollout is expected in the coming weeks. The government boot is coming down on AI. OpenAI has postponed the general release of its latest AI system, GPT-5-6, at the request of the US government's Office of National Cyber Director and the Office of Science and Technology Policy. Instead, the company will gradually roll out access to the model, with the government approving access customer by customer before allowing use. Jersey Mike's IPO illustrates how bad the AI hype has become. Jersey Mike's IPO filing reveals the sandwich chain mentioned artificial intelligence, AI, 22 times, despite not selling AI products or using it in its core business. The company's reliance on software and data is highlighted, but no specific explanation is given for how AI might pose a risk to investors. X-Energy XE, among our most promising new technology stocks. X-Energy Inc., Nasdaq, XE, has declined 28 in a month following its successful IPO in April 2026, but analysts still expect over 76 upside from current levels due to a strong project pipeline and key partnerships. The company reported Q1 2026 earnings with a 109% year-over-year revenue increase, driven by the Advanced Reactor Demonstration Program with the U.S. Department of Energy. Wall Street Insider says SK Hynix IPO could overwhelm the market. Here's the risk beyond memory stocks. SK Hynix's $28 billion IPO on Nasdaq, set to be the second largest equity sale globally, could overwhelm the market and potentially kill a bull run by pulling capital away from other AI-themed stocks. How trillionaires are really made. Elon Musk's net worth has exceeded $1 trillion following SpaceX's initial public offering, making him the world's first trillionaire. His wealth now surpasses that of nearly 4 billion people combined, or approximately 46% of the global population. Iran closes Strait of Hormuz. SK Hynix loses IPO gains. Bank earnings up next. Iranian forces attacked U.S. facilities across Gulf nations and closed the Strait of Hormuz, prompting President Donald Trump to deny commercial shipping disruption. Red Doors' IPO plan. Singapore first, Nasdaq later. Red Doors, a Southeast Asian hospitality technology platform, plans to list on the Singapore Exchange, SGX, in 2027, aiming to raise SGD 5,100 million for acquisitions. Nasdaq 100 set to shed over $1 trillion as tech sell-off deepens. SpaceX slides. The Nasdaq 100 index fell 2.2%, shedding over $1 trillion in value, as tech stocks including chipmakers like Micron Technology and Qualcomm plunged amid a reversal of the AI infrastructure build-out fueled rally. The decline pushed the Nasdaq down more than 5% from its June 2 peak. CSM Technologies IPO opens today. Check brokerage's review, GMP, subscription and other details. CSM Technologies' initial public offering IPO opened for subscription on Tuesday, with a grey market premium of around 4 indicating modest listing gains. The Rs 145.78 crore IPO will remain open until June 26, with the price band set at Rs 147,155 per share. Apple's lawsuit against OpenAI sparks another Musk-Altman online spat. Apple has sued OpenAI, accusing the AI company and 2 former Apple employees of stealing trade secrets related to manufacturing processes and products still in development. The lawsuit prompted a social media spat between OpenAI co-founders Elon Musk and Sam Altman, with both trading barbs over the issue. SpaceX shares drop below debut price before jumping amid 600 BN sell-off. SpaceX's shares dropped below their debut price of $150 per share, wiping out $600 billion in market value, before jumping 2.4% amid a broader tech sell-off. The company's valuation now stands at $1.9 trillion, with analysts predicting a potential move higher following the sharp sell-off. SpaceX stock looks like a SpaceX rocket launch. SpaceX's stock price rose sharply after its initial public offering, IPO, in June 2026, reaching as high as $225.64 per share before settling below its IPO price at $124.50 per share currently. The company's valuation briefly surpassed that of Microsoft and Amazon, making Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire. SpaceX shares slide as it joins the tech-heavy Nasdaq 100. SpaceX joined the Nasdaq 100 index on Tuesday, just under a month after its stock market debut on June 12. The company's entry into the tech-heavy index creates demand for its shares as index funds and ETFs tied to the Nasdaq 100 will need to buy shares to match the benchmark's new composition. Analysis: what's good for the U.S. economy now may not be good for stocks. The U.S. economy is showing resilience with solid job gains and consumer spending, while the stock market is experiencing a divergence, with the Nasdaq and S&P 500 down for June despite strong economic data. Rising real interest rates are changing the investment landscape as investors navigate the impact of an epic AI investment boom. BofA says AI is fueling Figma's next growth phase. Bank of America resumed coverage of Figma FIG with a buy rating and $30 price target, predicting AI will accelerate the company's long-term growth rather than commoditize digital design. SK Hynix set for marquee U.S. debut in test for AI appetite. SK Hynix's U.S. trading debut on Friday marks a key test of investors' appetite for AI-related stocks following a recent pullback in semiconductor shares. The South Korean chipmaker has sold $26.5 billion worth of shares, with proceeds to fund new factory construction and direct access to the US market. Thanks for watching, like and comment below. See you in the next update.